I'm your host, Kelly Morgan, indie author and indie publisher. Welcome to another episode of The Author's Mic. Welcome to today's episode. Hey everybody, Kelly here. Welcome to another episode of The Author's Mic. And you know it's Monday because I have a guest with me. Today I have Nikki. She is an author. I'm guessing by her website that she is, I want to say, like a speaker, an advocate, somebody who I really feel like you would want in your corner. So I'm going to let her tell you all about her, but I'm so happy that you've come to share the platform with me today. Welcome to the Author's Mic.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're so welcome. So, tell us, I mean, most people that I talk to who are independent authors or who have put out a book never started out that way. It kind of something happened to where they decided that they were going to just step out on faith and publish their book and just go for it. And I want to hear your journey and how you got to your book and how you even decided to even write this book.
Yeah, well, I'm the same. I never set out to write a book. My career started I've worked in palliative care, mental health, and the prison system throughout most of my life. And over a 2-year period, I experienced violence, workplace violence, while working in the prisons. I used to um, run group work in there and run programs and whatnot. And the last one, I was caught up in a prisoner stabbing another prisoner. And through that, I developed complex PTSD. So from that day onwards, I'd lost my sense of self, my sense of safety. I couldn't go back and work in the prisons. I become really, really unwell. And I just more or less lost everything. And I'd worked so hard to get to the position I was in. And at some point, my psychologist said, you need to journal. And I said, I don't want to journal. It's, a lot of writing. But after a really bad nightmare, I got up and started journaling. And I sort of didn't stop for about 2 years. At some point, she said, this is a book and it's going to help a lot of people. So that's how the book came about. Um, and it's sold in over 14 countries across the world now. So I'm feeling very blessed and grateful. Yeah.
Did you self-publish the book?
I did. Well, it went through a publisher, but it's tradition. It's not traditional publishing. Yeah, so it's through a publisher, but it's self-published. Mm.
So I've noticed that most people that write self-help books or nonfiction books, some people I notice will give us all the information. Like, here's all the information. But is your book where you give us information and then you maybe tell us what to do with the information, how to process the information, how to how to feel unstuck, I guess is what I'm saying, because there's a lot of help books out there. But does your book like show us how? Like, how do we get to the next step?
It does. It's a memoir slash self-help book. So I talk a lot. I talk in very simple language. So I wrote it as if like I was talking to the prisoners, how I used to at work. A lot of stories, a lot of metaphors, and it's not a clinical guide. There's nothing clinical about it. It's a lived experience. So in the beginning, I talk about my lived experience, and I talk about when I disassociate or flashbacks and what that feels like, and really connect. And I've been told it connects with the reader. And then I go on and I talk about my healing journey. So I talk about step by step about how I healed and eventually how I found the gifts of trauma. So yeah, it's definitely got the steps in it that help people move forward past the traumas. I mean, you've gone through hell. Why would you stay there? You have to keep walking.
So you started off journaling as many authors do, and then you decided that you had this book. But deciding that you have a book and
Mm.
publishing the book are two very different things. Like, what made you decide that you were going to just put it out there for the world to read?
Well, when I first was developed um, complex PTSD, I didn't really know what it was about. I only associated it with combat soldiers coming back from war. So I actually ended up writing the book I was searching for that I needed back then. I just needed I had this drive to help people. I had this real drive to connect with people and show them, because they've got a mental illness or complex PTSD doesn't make them less as a person. It makes them so much more extraordinary, so much more interesting. And I actually weaved that through the book. The kintsugi, Japanese bowl, when they break a piece of pottery, they repair it with gold, making it more valuable and interesting and worth more than what it was before. So I feed that through the book. So my drive was really to connect with others who'd lived the same experience or similar experience as me, and help them see themselves as whole.
And so if somebody is interested in reading the book and connecting with you, how do they find you?
Well, I didn't have social media at the start because I was working in the prisons, so I had very little social media. And I asked one of my daughters to create me an Instagram page. So she's come back in the room and she's called it She Is Mental PTSD. So I'm on Facebook and Instagram under She Is Mental PTSD. I've got the website, the book's selling on Amazon and Spotify audio book, or yeah, you can get it off the website. But I'm open to chatting to people. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
And so, the writing of the book and the publishing of the book, and you've even got an audio book, and so you've got it out there. You've got the website. You've got all of these wonderful things going on. But I got to ask you, like, what, what what am I trying to say? I always find it fascinating when people that go through things traumatic decide to go ahead and like put it out there, right?
Mm,
Because it's very hard, I think, sometimes to talk about things that are difficult. And so
yeah.
did you find that the writing came very easy to you, or was the writing difficult?
The writing sort of came through me. Like I remember chapter two. I didn't remember while I was writing chapter two. I don't remember writing it at all. It's almost like someone was writing it for me. Um, so it's just sort of channeling through me, and particularly with the journaling, I couldn't stop. I just had to keep going, and it's like I had to get it out of my head and onto the paper. And it was just this drive came over me that I need to do this, and there was no decisions in it. It just had to happen. It was very surreal. Mm.
I hear that a lot from people that start journaling and writing, and the next thing they know, they're full on into it. So you've got this one book out there. Are you, in fact, Nikki, are you an author, and are there other books in you?
Well, I used to write programs for a living, so I've actually shifted my focus a little bit to writing trauma programs and helping people. So giving them that next step, like we spoke about. So reading the book, get them started on the journey, and then showing them how to in a really gentle way. So I've teamed up with a psychologist from Sydney, Mind Shift Mentors, and we're developing some programs together that changes the brain, changes the neuro pathways in the brain. So there's that's really exciting, really exciting.
And
So
isn't it funny because I'm positive when you started journaling, you never imagined that this is where it would bring you.
no, no, I did not. No, I was when I started journaling, I was not very well at all, and I was not in a good space. I thought I'd never work again. But it just came, and it's almost like the hero's journey. How the many famous books are based on that. I've gone through hell. I've come out. I've had the people that supported me, and then I've come out with the prize, and now I need to share it. I need to share this knowledge, and it was just an overriding drive that I just needed to connect with others and show them that show them the way in a way. Mm.
You know what? I think that's fantastic. I hear that a lot from authors or from people that go through something, write it down. It's a book, and then they just feel compelled to share and help others, which honestly I think is something that's in all of us. I think we
Mm.
all are at our best when we are helping others.
Yeah, well, I call it the gifts of trauma. The book was a gift of trauma. If I hadn't been through what I went through, I wouldn't have had the book, and the book has just opened up so much. It's opened up my world
That
again, and Yeah.
So fantastic. I just think it's fascinating where writing can take you places and open up doors that you never thought would take you places before. And I think it's great how you have decided to take what happened to you and turn it into a positive and help others.
Yeah. Well, initially, I was writing for myself, and even doing the research, I researched a whole heap of what's happening in my brain because I couldn't understand it. And a lot of the books are very clinical and very, very hard to understand. So for myself, I really learned what was going on, and I made it into like little characters in the brain. So I've made it into an ebook, and like little sort of like that movie Inside Out. So I
Mhm.
had to, so I could understand what was happening. So it was a lot of healing for me by writing it. So it was a two-way street. I was writing it for me initially, and then now now it's the gift to others.
That's so fantastic. So before I let you go, I know that a lot of people that are going through stuff, I think for a lot of us, it's taking that first step. For you, somebody told you to journal and start writing things down, even though you didn't probably want to.
No.
But then, I think when you start journaling, you realize that it's this great outlet. But if somebody came to you and said, Nikki, journaling is just not my thing. You know,
Mm.
what can I do? Like what one piece of advice can you give me today? You've written this book, you're helping people. It sounds like you were able to turn your life around. What
Mm.
one piece of information can you give me today that I can take to start turning my life around so that when I grow up, I can be like you?
The biggest shift in my life was when I started viewing myself as the hero of my story rather than, the victim. I used to beat up on myself thinking, why wasn't I strong enough? Why couldn't I get through this? Why aren't I back working? So the minute I changed the narrative of my trauma story and saw myself as someone who's resilient and strong and can, is more interesting now than what it was before, it lessened the load. It really, I stopped trying to pretend that I had complex PTSD and that I didn't have it. And I accepted all my flaws and imperfections and just put it out there. And life just became easier. It became so much easier. Like I just was able to accept myself fully. And it was a turning point.